Hello, welcome back. I hope you're doing very well. I recently picked up one of these Roland SP404 Mark II sampler. I got it because summer's just around the corner and I wanted something portable and battery powered that I could basically go and sit in the park and just mess around with. I think that's pretty standard. A lot of people get these because of that functionality, because it's so portable. And as I've got to know it, I've been using it quite a bit, sort of getting ready to learn it so that I can go out into the world with it. I've realized that there are two things that it can do that make it a really sort of interesting partner for the Force or the NPC. And it's to do with using it to create samples as a sample source. Obviously, there's loads of ways you can create samples for the Force. You can do it internally in the Force, obviously. But there are two things about the SP404 that make it kind of almost unique to my knowledge anyway, as a source for creating samples to then use in the Force, on top of using the SP404 just as an instrument in its own right. So what I'm going to do in this video is just going to show you these two things that I've come to really appreciate about it, in particular in the way that you can use it with the Force. So let's have a look at those two kind of functionalities or workflows now. This is the first thing I love about the SP. So I've got an iPad Pro here, and I've got the SP itself, obviously. No batteries installed, no power connected, just audio outputs to my monitor so you can hear what's going on. And a single USB-C cable, no adapters, no dongles, just a USB-C cable. So the iPad is powering the SP. It will send MIDI in either direction and audio. So this audio is going into the external source and then out to my monitors just so you can hear it. And like I say, no dongles, no MIDI adapters, no camera connection kits, just one USB-C cable. Now, to me, this is the way iOS connectivity should be on every bit of hardware in 2023. And Akai, I'm looking you squarely in the eye. If Roland can do this, then surely Akai can as well. And it's so convenient that if you are, like I said in the intro, if you go to the park, just take your iPad and your SP and you can basically just spend, it's so easy to spend time making samples. So you just hit record and you can create drum kits. If you've got other apps, things like Borderlands, which is a wonderful kind of granular app or synthesizer, Chord Gadget, you can basically sit and just, it's so easy and so stress-free to record straight into the SP. It's wonderful for creating samples. And I found myself just sitting on the sofa, basically just noodling about, and with one cable and a pair of headphones, as opposed to all of the audio cables and MIDI cables and audio interfaces that we need to use if we're trying to get audio out of an iPad or an iPhone into the Force. This is so much simpler. So as I say, if you think of the enormous variety of apps for synthesizers, drum machines, samplers, sequencers that are available, excuse me, for the iPad, and you can just use the two with one cable and no power or connections or anything. It's a truly portable solution for, in the instance we're talking about, making samples to record them into the SP, and then you can then, whenever you're back home or whenever you're sat at your proper studio desk, you just take the SD card out, put it into the Force, and Bob's your uncle. You've got everything that you've created on the fly ready to go. I think that's a brilliant workflow and I've really enjoyed using it in that way. The second thing I love about using SP404 to create samples for the Force or an NPC is a function called skip back, which is a buffer, an audio buffer recording. So basically the whole time the SP404 is on, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to switch this on. It's just recording the last 40 seconds of audio of whatever's happened inside the machine. So it's running constantly. The second there's any audio playing, a light starts flashing and you can press it. And at the point you press it, it will grab the last 40 seconds of audio. Now, I think Roland kind of designed this with the intention of, if you're just jamming around on some samples and you played something that worked, sounded really good, you go, oh, that sounded cool, and you just press the skip back button, and you can grab it as an audio sample to then use as you see fit. However, it works with external sources as well. So whatever audio is coming into the SP404, whether it's through the analog inputs or the USB input, it works the same way. So this clicked for me, and this weekend I hooked it up to my turntable. So I just basically had my turntable running as I would normally do, with the audio going into the SP404, then going out to my speakers, just as I would normally do it. And I just listened to music all weekend. I just had the turntable playing various different records. And the thing about the skip back functionality is every time I was just making a cup of tea or doing whatever, and I heard something, thought that sounded cool, you just walk up to the SP404, press the skip back button, and then save that sample to a pad and just go about your life until it happens again. And over a weekend of just listening to music as I would normally do, I wasn't thinking about, right, today I'm going to make some samples. I was just listening to music. And by doing that process, oh, that sounds cool, press the button, saved, go on with your day. I probably recorded about 40 or 50 samples just from listening to music that were all sat on pads in the SP404. Then at the end of the weekend, I just basically dumped them all out of the SP404, put them into the Force, and I've got something to work with. And that functionality works, as I said, with you can plug it into anything. So if your SP404 is connected to your computer and you're using it as an audio interface, you can just whatever you're listening to, the second you hear something that sounds good, you just go, oh, press the button, hit skip back, and you've got it. And it's particularly good for vinyl because it means that you don't have to go back and lift the needle up and put it back again. It's just always running. So I had, like I say, I had this going all weekend just listening to music. I did it with the radio as well, and just grabbed loads of samples. And it's brilliant. I don't have any other device that can do that. That's always on, always recording. 40 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're thinking about you listen to a song and you hear a hook or you hear a little drum break or something, it's enough to catch it. And it also is enough time for you to get to the machine where you go, oh, that was interesting, walk to the machine, press skip back, bosh, you've got it. I absolutely love that. So I've basically got everything running through it now. Whenever I listen to music, I have it running through the SP404 so I can just grab little snippets. So those are the two reasons I absolutely love this machine for creating samples for the Force. Obviously, Force in a way, or an MPC, can do both of those things. You can connect an iPad to an Akai Force or an MPC, but you need a load of cables and connectors and dongles to do it. And you can sample from the records. Obviously, people do it all the time, but it's an active process. It's not a passive process. This allows you to listen to music passively, just for enjoyment, and then grab little bits of it as you go along. I love those two bits of functionality. As I say, you can do both of those things just with a Force. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest you run out and get an SP404 just to do those things, unless you've got money to spare. But if you're on the kind of fence about buying one of these, the SP404 Mark II, and you're thinking, will I use it a lot with the Force? Is it adding anything to the Force? I personally think it is, with those two particular functions or functionality. Also, surprisingly, the warping algorithm for audio real-time stretching on this seems to be better than it is on the Force, which is quite remarkable given how small it is. But those are the two things I absolutely love. One cable USB-C connection to iOS, and this constant, always recording audio skip back. If you put this at the center of your hi-fi, however you listen to music and have your music running through it all the time, you've basically got a limitless supply of samples that you can then save to the SD card and just transfer over to the Force to then use in your productions as you see fit. I absolutely love this little thing. I'm really glad I got it. Anyway, that was it. That's it. I should say I can't speak today. I hope that was useful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.